We've got 5 weeks before the UFC is back in action with UFC 324 in 2026 with Paramount. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down and giving my early prediction for every single main event we've got booked so far in early 2026. In 2026, what we've got so far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main events. Oh my God, 6. No, I'm just kidding. I can't. We've got 6 main events booked so far. And then, of course, we've got a few more cards, which I might give an early prediction of what those main events could be in this video. We'll see how things are going, but we're going to get straight into it with Gaethje versus Pimblett. We're going to get started with Gaethje Pimblett, man. This is a good main event. It's a good main event as much as people want to shit on it, as much as I've shat on it. This is a great main event. It's going to be a fun fight, guaranteed. Should it be for the interim belt? No. Let's be honest, no. Max starts Gaethje. Pimblett's only beat Unks. His 3 last opponents are 0-13 in their past fights. I mean, actually, sorry, King Green just won. Sorry. 1-13 in their past 14 fights. It's insane, but this is what we got. And it's a fun fight. It is a very fun fight. If it wasn't for the interim belt, I think everybody, the entire MMA community would be loving it, but this is what we got. So, for pick-wise, for an early prediction, I think if you guys know me, you know who I'm going with. I'm going with Paddy Pimblett. I'm going with Paddy Pimblett. Hey, Paddy the body lad. Paddy the fucking body lad. We're going to be piecing up Justin Gaethje. I can't do accents, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I can't do accents. I'm not bedtime. I'm not guru. But Paddy Pimblett is going to cook Justin Gaethje. I think he's gonna beat him. A lot of people are on the Justin Gaethje side. They're looking at his money line. They're looking at Gaethje. They're like, oh my God, man, Gaethje's free money, all this, all that. I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Paddy Pimblett is going to show levels here. I think he's the much younger fighter. He's the much better grappler. He showed that his striking has leveled up a lot against Michael Chandler. Against Chandler. I am worried about the fact that Pimblett leans his head back when he exits. And when he exits sequences, he leans very far back. He goes in a straight line. When he's fighting Ilya, he's cooked. Let's call it what it is. Whenever Ilya is done with his whole drama, and he comes back, and if he fights Pimblett, I think he starts as Pimblett. But Justin Gaethje lost a lot of his speed, lost a lot of his pop. He hasn't had a huge knockout since Dustin Poirier, and that was with the head kick. I don't see him catching a freaking head kick on Paddy Pimblett, and I just expect Paddy Pimblett to get an early submission. Honestly, I don't see this one going too far into the fight. I think he's going to get a round 2 submission over Justin Gaethje. Realistically, a rear naked choke, maybe an armbar. He could maybe pull an armbar on Gaethje or a triangle, but I do think a rear naked choke is most likely. Gaethje overswings as well, which doesn't help. He's cleaned it up a little bit, but he still overswings, and the only guys he's beat recently is Rafael Fiziev on short notice. And who did he beat before that? He lost to Max, and he beat Fiziev as well. He beat Fiziev, and then he beat Fiziev in the rematch. And then he also beat who did he beat, man? It was Poirier. I feel like it was Fiziev Poirier. Then he lost to Max, and then he fought Fiziev again. I might have a screw loose. I might be forgetting somebody, but Gaethje hasn't beat anybody of notable or notability in a long time. He shouldn't be in this position. He cried his way to an interim title, and I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett as the early prediction. I think he gets it done, and I think he finds a submission win over Justin Gaethje in the first or second round. Like I said, Gaethje overswings. I think Paddy Pimblett's going to get in on his takedowns. He's going to get ground and pound off, and when Gaethje turtles and tries to get out of those bad positions, I think the neck will be open for the taking. He's lost every single title fight by submission. Literally, this guy has lost all of his title fights by submission. He lost Oliveira by sub. He lost to Khabib by sub. Who else did he get sub by? I swear there was somebody else. I might be tweaking. But Gaethje's been subbed. It's clear what the path to victory is here for Pimblett. His team is smart. I think they're going to go for a submission, go to the grappling if they want to win this fight. I think they're going to do that. I think Pimblett's going to get a submission win. That's my first prediction. We're going to move on to Volkanovski versus Lopez, UFC 325, literally a week later. They've got UFC 325. So I got to give the UFC credit for this because this is great. Back-to-back numbered events. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever witnessed that in my entire watching of the UFC ever. As a UFC fan, I don't think we've ever witnessed that. It might have happened once, maybe like 10 years ago. But this is insane, and this is a great fight. It shouldn't be the fight or to fight Volk. It shouldn't be Lopez 2 versus Volkanovski. It doesn't make any sense. But this is what we're getting. And it is a good fight nonetheless. The first fight was very fun. We can't lie to ourselves and say the first fight wasn't fun, but Evloev deserved it. Murphy deserved it. And the people that say they didn't deserve it, they're both undefeated on win streaks, ranked number 1 and ranked number 4 in the featherweight division, and you give it to a guy who just fought Volkanovski less than a year ago. What the fuck? What the fuck? There's actually nothing else to say. There's no way anybody can defend this. Lopez can't. I love Lopez, but Lopez can't even defend this. Nobody can defend this. But this is what we got. It's in Sydney. Volk said he's not retiring, which is good news. And I think he's going to win this fight. I think Volk's going to win this fight. I was tempted to pick Lopez in the rematch, but what has Lopez improved? What has Lopez improved in under a year? This isn't a Pereira versus Ank 2 where Pereira just came out and was super aggressive and just chinned him immediately. Maybe Lopez can do that. The difference is Volkanovski's movement, his speed is still there at 37 years old. And he seems to be as hungry as ever. You know, I've watched some of his YouTube videos, his training camps in Thailand and stuff. He still seems to be very hungry. He wants to beat Lopez again and be able to fight Evloev and or Murphy and then retire. He wants to fight those guys that are undefeated, that will actually help his resume, rather than fighting Lopez back-to-back, which made no sense. Not to mention, Lopez was losing that fight with Jean Silva in that second round. He was getting pieced up and darted up before landing that spinning elbow. It was a nasty spinning elbow. It was beautiful. Very, very nice by Lopez, and he did win that first round, but I think Volkanovski's still too fast for Lopez. I think he's still too technical. I think over 5 rounds, obviously, it favors Volkanovski. You know, Lopez was able to steal a couple rounds from Volk in their first fight, or at least one round, I believe it was. I believe it was 49-46. And I think it's going to be the same thing. I really think it's going to be the same thing. Early rounds, Lopez. Late rounds, Volk. You know, actually, last time it was early rounds Volk. And Lopez, I think, got like a late round, to be honest. But I think Volk wins this fight. Unanimous decision, 49-46, same outcome. I mean, why are you running this fight back? Not even a year after. Doesn't make sense. It's going to be the same outcome. I got Volkanovski by decision for UFC 325. We will move on to the next main event. Actually, a very sleeper main event. Mario Bautista versus Oliveira. Vinicius Oliveira, that is. We're going to talk about another Oliveira in a minute. The GOAT, Charles Oliveira. But we got some Oliveiras in the main events and stuff. So Bautista versus Oliveira in the Apex. This is in the Apex. Before you guys look at this, you're like, holy shit, what is this trash fight night main event? This in the Apex is actually good. I can't even hate. I cannot even hate. This is one of the more fun Apex main events we've had in a while. I mean, we just had Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval. That screams Apex main event. The one before that was Randy Brown versus Gabriel Bonfim. You know, like Randy Brown wasn't even ranked. So at least both these guys are ranked. They're both, you know, on the come up. Bautista was on a huge win streak before losing to Umar Nurmagomedov in a close 29-28 decision where he made it very competitive. And Oliveira is undefeated in the UFC on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC. You know, had back-to-back knockouts, is on a 3-fight decision streak, but all really impressive performances, and he just cracked the top 15. So this is a very fun fight. And as an early pick, as an early prediction, I'm going to go with Mario Bautista. I think a lot of people are going to be picking Vinicius Oliveira, and I understand. He's physical. He's a physical specimen. He's huge. He really reminds me of like a Michael Morales of the bantamweight division. He's very big, very powerful. He overswings like crazy, but he is sharp with his shots. And don't get me wrong, he could definitely clip Bautista to get him out of there. But I think over 5 rounds, I think Bautista's going to use the wrestling, use the grappling, and he has surprisingly good striking. Umar Nurmagomedov did not want to strike with Mario Bautista. He didn't want to strike with him at all. He didn't want to stay on the feet. Bautista clipped Umar with a knee in the first few seconds of that second round. Really nasty knee, dropped Umar and had him in all sorts of trouble and had him just shooting and diving for Bautista's hips, honestly. And Bautista showed really good scramble ability, really good durability in that fight. And he hasn't been chinned in over 10 fights. I don't see Oliveira coming out and flash knocking him out unless he lands a flying knee or something crazy, which he definitely could. But I don't see that being the case. And I think he's going to slow down after those first few rounds. We've seen Oliveira, you know, be tired, have injuries, and just be in shambles. You know, I swear to God, I just heard a police car. I have no idea. Yo, they're pulling up on me. They're pulling up on me. Hold up. They want me to pick Oliveira, guys. They want me to pick. I'm just kidding. But I'm going Bautista. People are going to call this criminal, literally. But I'm going to go Bautista. I think the experience, you know, Oliveira's got a bigger record, but he hasn't fought the level of competition Bautista's fought. I think Bautista's competition, his 5-round experience, is going to be really good for him. I think it's going to be really good for him, and I think he's going to show some good levels here, and he's going to show that he's still worth it in the bantamweight division. You know, he's gained a lot of fans' respect again after that Umar fight. After the fight, what do you have before that? It was the Patchy Mix fight where he just pieced up Patchy Mix on the feet. So I'm going to go Bautista. by decision, maybe a TKO, if Oliveira is absolutely death gassed in the 4th or 5th round. But I think Bautista's got better cardio. His striking is surprisingly good and underrated, and I think his grappling is very good. So give me Bautista by decision as the early prediction for this one. We move on. Strickland versus Hernandez. This is a banger fight night main event. Very, very good fight night main event. I was supposed to watch Anthony Hernandez live in Vancouver. Unfortunately, he pulled out. Then freaking Brendan Allen smudged Rainer Ritter and TKO'd him. Terrible, terrible watch. But I think Hernandez would have killed RDR. And I think he's going to beat Strickland. I'm going to go with Anthony Hernandez as the early pick. I do think, though, and I do want to say that this is going to be a decision win. I really think Sean Strickland's survivability and his takedown defense is so heavily underrated. The guy just knows how to stay on his feet, knows how to teep and jab his way to a decision and just survive grappling. He knows how to survive really dangerous grapplers. He knows how to survive really dangerous striking fights, like even when the DDP rematch where he was getting pieced up, his nose was broken, he was getting marched down, he was still able to circle out, stay alive, keep teeping and jabbing to get to the bell. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Hernandez is going to be more active. He's going to be on Strickland, slowing him down, grinding him out, really, really trying to tire him out up against the fence and just pound away with elbows, with knees, just like body shots and really, really, really just digging on Strickland. But I could see Strickland winning this fight. Because his cardio is underrated. His takedown defense is very good. And his jabs and his teeps work. They do work. As much as people want to hate on Strickland and, the way he fights, it does work. It's got him to a title shot. It's got him to become champion. He beat Israel Adesanya. I think he could beat Hernandez. But I'm going to go with Hernandez because he has showed so much potential. And I think this is a favorable matchup in the sense that he's going to be able to get in close on Strickland. And Strickland isn't good in the dirty boxing range. He's not too good in the clinch. So I think Hernandez is going to show out there in the clinch, in the dirty boxing. With the takedowns, if he can get them. I think he'll get some takedowns on Strickland, but I do expect Strickland to get back to the feet pretty quickly. But Hernandez is going to win the minutes. He's going to win the damage and get a decision win here. I'm going to say close decision, 48-47, maybe a split decision, maybe a controversial split. Who knows? But I'm going to go with Hernandez to get this one done by decision. Close fight, though. Close fight. I do see this going the distance. I don't see a finish here. We'll move on, though, to the next main event. Brandon Moreno versus I was about to say Amir Albazi. That shit already happened. Versus Asu Almabayev. Jeez, Asu Almabayev. Dude, Mexico cannot go. The UFC cannot go without a Brandon Moreno Mexico City main event. I don't understand. I don't get it. There was so many better things you could do here. Yair Rodriguez versus Sterling. Yair Rodriguez versus freaking, what's his name? Yusuf Zalal would have been better. It literally would have been better. I don't want to see Brandon Moreno in these Mexico City main events anymore. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. I think I'm not the only one that's sick of it. I understand that he is the Mexican guy that they've always been putting forward, but he just got whooped by Tatsuro Taira. Put him in the co-main. He doesn't have to be the main event, man. We don't need a flyweight Moreno main event in Mexico City every year. But he's fighting Asu Almabayev. Asu's on a little bit of a streak right now. I think he's riding off, is it back-to-back wins? I had the decision win over Jose Ochoa, who's very dangerous. He took him down, grappled him up, and won over the distance. And then he just submitted Alex Perez, who he was losing to. He was down 2 rounds, I would say. He was getting outstruck, and then in that 3rd round, Alex Perez was getting dotted up a little bit by Asu as he came out quick and then shot a takedown. Asu hopped on the neck, guillotine. That was in Qatar. That wasn't that long ago. And Moreno just lost at UFC 323 to Tatsuro Taira, ground and pound TKO. He was getting really destroyed in the grappling. And that is why I'm picking Asu Almabayev. I do think Asu Almabayev's grappling will be the difference in this fight. The problem for me is the cardio. Will this go 5 rounds? If this goes 5 rounds, I think Moreno will probably pick it up in the 4th and 5th and win. 48-47, but I do think Almabayev's takedowns, his grappling is really good, and his striking's come a long way. I know he was losing to Alex Perez, but Tatsuro Taira was losing to Alex Perez before the injury. A lot of guys were losing to Alex Perez before beating him. That's kind of how it goes with Alex Perez. He's very good, and I think Moreno is still good. The problem for me is that what we saw against Taira, that takedown defense, the back takes, it didn't look good. It didn't look good with Moreno, and this is a very quick comeback. It was kind of an early stoppage with Taira, but I think Almabayev can grapple his way to at least get up a few rounds or find a submission or something. Moreno's never been sub, but I could see Almabayev pulling it off. So give me Asu Almabayev as the quick pick by decision or submission. I'm trying to kind of lean one way, but I'm gonna go submission. I'm gonna go rear naked choke, backpacks Moreno, finds the neck rather than going for a TKO like Tatsuro Taira did. I'm gonna go Almabayev by submission for the early prediction for the quick pick. We will move on though to the final main event we got to talk about today. My favorite main event that has been booked in 2026 so far, UFC 326, Holloway versus Oliveira 2, banger. Banger. I'm gonna go to this fight card live. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to this fight card live. I'm not even legal in Las Vegas, all right? But I'm still gonna find a way. When there's a will, there's a way, boys. I'm going to this card, and I'm picking Oliveira. I'm picking Oliveira. I know. There's some bias here. There's some bias here, but I'm going with Charles Oliveira for a couple of reasons. I do think Max Holloway can win this fight, and I think this is a 50-50. In all honesty, I think this is a 50-50. A lot of people are going to be picking Max Holloway. The youth, the speed, being a bit fresher, not having taken so much damage. But I do believe that Charles Oliveira isn't past his prime. I don't think it's over. I really don't think it's over. You look at his recent losses. He lost to Arman Tsarukyan by split decision there, where he arguably won, almost subbed him 3 times. Lost to Islam Makhachev, pound for pound best in the world, GOAT status, just got double champ status, absolutely dominated JDM. And then he just lost to Ilia Topuria, undefeated, chinned Max Holloway as well, chinned Volkanovski, and chinned Oliveira. These are all guys that are top-notch level. Like, Arman should be fighting for the title. He just whooped up on Dan Hooker and finished him easy. I think Oliveira is still there. And this might just be my complete bias of being an Oliveira glazer, but I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira. I think the grappling is going to be really good here. He's going to get takedowns on Max Holloway. I really don't think Max Holloway has the best takedown defense. He showed it from time to time, but I do think Oliveira, with his pressure up against the fence, baiting out Max Holloway with the striking and then going in for takedowns, shooting the singles, shooting the double legs, getting him up against the fence and dragging him down like what he did to Mateusz Gamrot, which was very recent. And he showed he's still so good. That was one of his best performances of his career at 36 years old. When people were counting him out and saying he's past his prime, he's washed, he's all this, all that, and he dominated Mateusz Gamrot, who's a very good grappler, who's never been finished, and he finished him with ease in the second round. Max Holloway just went to war with Dustin Poirier. It was a great fight, and he won that fight clear, but he went to war with Dustin Poirier. He didn't finish Dustin Poirier in his retirement fight. He didn't put an absolute beating on Dustin Poirier. And Oliveira finished Poirier. I'm not trying to do math here. I'm not trying to do MMA math, but I'm going with Charles Oliveira. The grappling, the pressure, the 5-round cardio. He showed it against Chandler. He looked really good in that fight. The defense as well is something that people underrate with Charles Oliveira. He did get clipped by Ilia Topuria, but that's because he was blitzing in, and I don't think Holloway is starching out Oliveira. Give me Charles Oliveira to win this fight by decision. By decision, I think this is going to be a competitive 48-47, very close decision where we're like, okay, Oliveira could have won that one. Holloway could have won that round. Like, we're going to be looking at rounds. We're going to be like, everybody's going to be judging this differently, I feel like. Because we're going to look at the grappling of Oliveira, and people are going to judge that differently. And then the striking of Holloway, did he outstrike Oliveira? Like, there's going to be little things where this is a very close competitive decision. I don't see a finish here, honestly. I thought maybe this is going to be a guaranteed finish, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm looking back at tape. I'm looking at stuff, and I'm thinking this is going to be a close competitive decision. Give me Charles Oliveira to get it done, though. 48-47, pressures Max Holloway, puts the gas on him, gets him up against the fence, takes him down, gets some good control time, hunts some submission attempts, and I think he's going to do more damage than Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway will probably outstrike him like he always does, but I think Oliveira is going to do more damage, beat up Max Holloway on the ground, and get a decision win here. So give me Charles Oliveira. So I'm going to do a recap of all my picks, starting with Pimblett. I'm going with Pimblett over Gaethje. I'm going with Volkanovski over Lopez in the rematch. I'm going with Bautista over Oliveira in the Apex, and then I'm going Hernandez over Strickland in Houston, and then I'm going Almabayev over Moreno in Mexico City, and then I got Oliveira over Holloway. This is either going to age like wine, and I'm going to get everything right, or I'm going to get everything wrong. But that's the entire video, boys. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop it down in the comments who you guys are picking in all the first main events of 2026. I'm very excited for this new year. We're going to have a lot of freaking good fights, boys. So, like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you.